Your body is made of trillions of cells. A large majority of those cells require NAD to function. NAD is the energy powerhouse for a cell, and it's integrated into over 400 different reactions in your body. As you age, those NAD levels decline.
A lot of people don't know, can't just take NAD+.
NAD by itself really doesn't seem to have that big of an impact. Nicotinamide riboside can be directly taken up into the cell and produce NAD. We're not about longevity, making us live longer. We're really about how to live healthier in the years that we have to live. How can we do more as we get older with our children, with our grandchildren?
Welcome to Inside the Formula, a Supco original series where we go behind the science of supplements that have earned the Tested by Supco certification. Each episode, I sit down with the formulators, chemists, and scientists behind these products to find out what it actually takes to make a supplement that works.
I'm Jordan Glenn, head of science at Supco. NAD+ is one of the most researched longevity targets in science right now. And today, we're talking to the company that put NR on the map. As Niagen Bioscience's Vice President of Research and Development, Aron Erickson has over 20 years of experience focusing on analytical and process chemistry, product formulation, and intellectual property. He has held previous R&D leadership roles at Cargill and E.J. Gallo Winery. Before we begin, an important reminder. Tested by Supco is an independent certification program that Supco offers as part of its business model. Brands featured in this series have paid fees to have their products analyzed by the tested program, which tests the products that consumers actually buy to verify their active ingredient claims. Test results are published transparently, pass or fail, and cannot be influenced. Today's episode includes a brand partner. And now, my conversation with Aron Erickson. Aron, how you doing? Welcome. Glad to have you on the show.
Good, yeah, glad to be here. Thank you, Jordan.
So tell me what's going on these days. What's going on at Niagen? We're excited to talk about this.
Yeah. I mean, we got a lot of stuff going on here. A lot of new studies, a lot of new, products coming into the market. It's a pretty exciting time for us right now.
And you've been at Niagen 12 years now. That's a long time to be anywhere. So yeah. I want to understand a little bit more about what drew you into Niagen, and more important for me, what ultimately has made you stay this whole time.
Yeah. So first coming out of Niagen Bioscience, we were originally Chromadex was the point of a new product coming to market. It was really exciting, something in the healthy aging space. And that product happened to be Niagen. And so I really got to join at the forefront of the company bringing this product to market, helping develop it, and seeing it through today. And that's what keeps me here today as well.
I mean, you mentioned the name Chromadex. Chromadex really started as a reference standards company, which many people may not know what that actually means, but I want to explain that and then help us understand how that origin story really shaped how you ultimately think about quality in your role today.
Yeah. So Chromadex was a reference standards company where we, in the botanical space, really set a standard as the company to test products against. So we made reference standards for the market. We created a great name that people trusted to understand how to test their products. We actually tested third-party products as well at the same time. But with that, and that knowledge of understanding how to test botanicals, ensuring quality, ensuring purity, we're able to translate that to our ingredients program as well. And one of our ingredients is Niagen, or nicotinamide riboside. And so through the years, we've really been able to ensure that we have a high-quality product, high-quality ingredient that's pure and can be trusted by the consumer.
And you mentioned an important word there, nicotinamide riboside. So in the world of NAD+, there's a couple different precursors that people talk about when we think about increasing this molecule internally. You have NR that you just mentioned, and then you have this other one called NMN, nicotinamide mononucleotide. Help us understand how to think about these two different ingredients and why you guys specifically focus on NR as your ingredient.
Yeah. So from early on, and this helps, really getting introduced to our chief scientific advisor, Dr. Brenner. He really helped us understand, this market. He discovered the importance of nicotinamide riboside in increasing NAD in the salvage pathway, within your body. And so with that, and over the years, we've shown that nicotinamide riboside, or Niagen, our branded product, is the most efficient NAD precursor. And what does that mean? So compared to NMN, so nicotinamide mononucleotide has to be dephosphorylated or broken down before it's absorbed into the cell to create NAD, where nicotinamide riboside can be directly taken up into the cell. and produce NAD. And so that's why we say we're the most efficient precursor in the market. There have also been studies that have done side-by-side comparisons showing that on a equivalence basis, let's say molar equivalent, so compound per compound comparison, we increase NAD to a greater extent than NMN. And so that's also something that's important to understand for that why we're the most efficient, or NR is the most efficient NAD precursor.
And why do we need NAD plus? What's happening in the body that makes NAD plus so important?
Yeah. So your body is made of trillions of cells, and I'd say a large majority of those cells require NAD to function. NAD is the energy powerhouse for a cell, and it's related or integrated into over 400 different pathways, 400 different reactions in your body to maintain your daily routine every day. And so that's why NAD is so important. As you age, those NAD levels decline, and you notice yourself getting tired. You notice yourself not being able to have the same amount of energy. And so our hope with Niagen or TRU Niagen supplementation is bring those NAD levels up. We actually have shown in a human clinical study that we can raise NAD levels in blood, 50, even over 100% of baseline levels, between the ages of 40 and 60 years of age.
And so, specifically thinking about the precursors that help increase NAD plus, you guys hold over 60 patents on NR specifically, everything from the synthesis of the molecule all the way through crystal morphology, etc. What does that level of kind of proprietary development give you when you're producing this internally?
Yeah. So being a part of the company for 12 years, it's been great where I've been able to help be on the forefront of a lot of the research, really developing a lot of the IP or even patents from the beginning to ensure that we have the market protected. And why is that important? Meaning that as we develop new products, we can ensure that we're maybe first to market, or we have the ability to develop a very high quality product that the consumer can trust and take our time launching it to ensure that it's still an environment where we have the ability to sell the product effectively. But really, it also holds the standard too. We really are a science-backed company. We prefer to have very high quality product in the market. So we really prefer to have the time to develop a high quality product for the consumer.
And I mean, speaking of being a science-backed company, you guys supply Niagen to over 300 different research institutions. That's pretty wild. How do you guys think about this relationship you have with the scientific community, and ultimately what compels you to do this?
Right. So something also very unique to our company is we have an external research program. And what does that mean? What we do is we partner with universities and institutions that are really asking to work with us as well. And it's independent research. So the researchers at the university may have the idea, they have the study design, and they just need the material. And so in a large majority of cases, we provide the material for free, just to advance the science in the space. And that's why it's important. We really enjoy, this. We really think that having this program is an incredible benefit, not just to us, but to the consumer, because it drives the science. It drives, what benefits could NR and even NAD, that's created from NR occur, and how it brings light to the community, just the science behind that.
And so I love that because a lot of times when I spend a lot of time reading supplement research, and one of the things I go look for is, who's the funder, how did that happen, et cetera. And this fact that you're just giving it for free and letting these institutions do what they will with it, I think it just shows so much confidence that you guys have in your products that you're putting out in the market today. But you also test competitor products. And I think that's a different. And so I want to talk a little bit about what you're finding when you test competitor products or other NAD products in the market. You have so much confidence in your own. You're supplying them, for free for independent research. What are you seeing when you're looking at other products on their market as well?
Yeah. So being a science-backed company too, and wanting to ensure that we keep the market, honest, keeping a high bar set for quality in the space. We do test competitive products in the market. And so we have an internal testing program where we do that. And we've tested a variety of NR products, NMN products, and even NAD products. And what we see is that over 2/3, about 65% of products across all categories have less than 90% and close to 0% of the label claim, meaning that the consumer is not getting what the label or what the bottle says there should be getting. And that's an issue. The other point to that is we've actually partnered with USP. We've actually been a sole sponsor of a monograph for nicotinamide riboside. And we've been working with them for 5 to 6 years and now have established a monograph that's published, and it's set to be official in October of this year. So we hope that is another step in ensuring that the market itself is holding itself to a high bar for NR.
And for those unfamiliar, explain a little bit more about what does that mean, a USP monograph? Like the importance of that, I think,
Right.
can get lost in the details. Help us understand exactly what that means for you all.
Right. So a USB monograph is a set standard on testing the purity and identity of nicotinamide riboside. So something that has been validated by the United States Pharmacopoeia, which is an independent company that has tested this at 3 different labs internally of their own, showing that this is a robust method, that it can be relied upon in the market to show that the nicotinamide riboside that someone's getting is actually what it is. So it's really, really good for building trust with consumers, even different companies in the market that would like to partner with us. So it just shows that we've set a high bar in the area for the quality and purity of our ingredient Niagen.
And so 2/3 of the products you're testing are coming back not meeting label claims. You guys are actually going and kind of setting the standard for what quality is in the space.
Yep.
Talk to me about, what does this quality standard actually look like in practice? Where do you guys put the most scrutiny? How does this look internally at TRU Niagen?
Yeah. So because we're heavily science backed, like I said already, I like to look at it as like a 3-part process. The first one is the developmental side. So we actively work with our manufacturer and manufacturers for not just the ingredient, but for the final product, the TRU Niagen capsules. So we go on site. We understand the processing mechanisms. We, audit the different locations. We evaluate the raw materials. And so that's 2 parts. Really, auditing is the second part. First part is really understanding the development. The third part then is the testing, the final testing. And so we've developed a lot of the analytical methods that are needed for the testing of nicotinamide riboside or Niagen, not just the ingredient, but the final products as well. And so we ensure that that's great too. We validate those methods too, meaning that not only we're just testing it, but we actually take the method itself, look at all the different components that are present, ensure that we're accurately testing the actives in there to the correct levels. And so that we know that the method is accurate and correct and can be trusted by the consumer.
And you talk about testing a lot, and a lot of
Yep.
companies will do internal testing, but
Yep.
some of the best ones, like you guys, will also do third-party testing. Third-party testing has really become a buzzword in the space, but rigor can vary wildly.
Mhm.
Why did you guys ultimately decide to go through the tested by SUPCO certification, and what does that mean to you as a brand?
Yep. What that means to us is that we can have another company independently verify our products as well. And we have such confidence in what we have developed that we know that a third party would be able to test at the same level and scrutiny and integrity that we would do on our side at the same time. It also gives the consumer another point of trust with the company and trust with the product itself. So we ensure that the consumer actually can say, okay, you're not just telling us it's what it is. You're actually having a third party confirm that it is a high quality product in the market.
Well, I think with all the testing you guys are doing with the other products, they should probably be doing a lot of that too, because
Yeah.
clearly if you're seeing 2/3 of the products you're testing not meet label claims, this third-party testing becomes incredibly important, especially in this space of longevity. Then the word longevity increases a lot of noise these days, which also comes with a lot of claims. And so when it comes for the science and the work that you all do internally, how do you go about developing and ultimately drawing the line on the claims that you can make in a space where it feels like people are claiming that different things will do anything to fix us from a long-term health perspective?
Yeah. Again, being a science fact company, we let the science push the products. We don't like to overstate anything that our products can do. We don't like to suggest or exploit benefits based on maybe an incomplete study or a study that wasn't peer reviewed. So we're very careful on what we claim with both of our ingredient and consumer products. So when we do make a claim, we actually have a pretty good justification that we pulled together based on various studies, um, as well as background to ensure that we can support the claim in the market.
And I love that. So NAD plus, where you guys are really focused, it's a fairly new ingredient, a fairly new supplement when we think about the broad world of supplements. And what is one mechanism or finding or outcome that's really coming up in the NAD plus space right now that you really want people to know about, or maybe you think is genuinely misunderstood?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest misunderstandings in the market is that all NAD precursors, even NAD, are equal. That if I take NAD, my NAD levels will increase. I think the misunderstanding there is that NAD by itself really breaks down into multiple different components and doesn't seem to have that big of an impact on your NAD levels. So just what we had previously discussed with NR being directly taken up into the cell, being converted to NAD is very important. It's a benefit to keep your the NAD levels at a good concentration as you age, and we can help supplement those to maintain a higher level of NAD in your body for daily functioning.
And one of the things that, with this being a new space or a novel science space, where does this go in the next 5 to 10 years? And what part of that are you most excited about?
Right. So I know we highlighted the external research program, and I'd like to focus on that. What I'm really excited there is when it first started, a lot of the studies were preclinical studies. But over the last few years, it's really been converting into human clinical studies, which is great. So we get to see the direct benefit of our ingredient, Niagen, and TRU Niagen products in a human and seeing what observations could be present there. And so that's where I'm really excited on what is going to be coming in the next 5 to 10 years. How can we help further us aging better in our years? We're not about longevity, like making us live longer, but we're really about how to live healthier in the years that we have to live. How can we do more, you know, as we get older with our children, with our grandchildren? That's really important. So just, I'm excited to see how this continues to evolve over the next 5 to 10 years with additional studies coming out.
I like that a lot because what you're hitting on there is this concept of health span, not just lifespan, not just living
Yep.
longer, but this concept of living healthily as we age, which I think they get misconstrued a bit. And I think it's a very, very important note that you touched on. And so you have all these people taking True Niagen every single day. What do you want these individuals to understand that goes into making it that is never going to make it onto a label? We see all the fancy marketing, we see all the interesting branding. What should people know that's happening behind the scenes?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the quality that goes into every product that we have in the market. The amount of work that all of our scientists and quality personnel put into being actually on site at the manufacturing locations, auditing those locations, ensuring that the development, the manufacturing process is understood, that the testing itself is always at a high quality, and that every bottle that each consumer gets of True Niagen will be exactly as it's stated on the bottle.
I love that. And Aron, I have a personal question for you as I let you go. I want to
Yeah.
know one supplement that you personally cannot live without. And I want to know what's the one supplement you think flying completely under the radar that you wish more people knew about.
Yeah. So one supplement I do take that I think is something I can't live without is omega 3s. I know that they've been pretty well adopted into the market. They have great claims. I personally take it for heart health individually. So the one that's flying under the radar, I think, is still even the NAD market. I think Niagen and Nicotinamide Riboside that we promote are still um, gaining interest, gaining awareness in the market. And I think it's really important for people to continue to learn about this ingredient and product as we move forward. So,
Yeah, you said something earlier, which I think a lot of people don't know about when you mentioned that is like you can't just take NAD plus, at least in its traditional form, and actually increase NAD plus levels internally. You actually have to take a precursor to increase those levels, which I think as you mentioned, there's an education piece. I think that's a little bit lost right now that you guys are doing a really great job, really helping surmount and helping people understand, make sure they're taking the right thing.
yeah, I agree.
Awesome.
I think so too.
Awesome. Dedicated to science, external and internal, very confident in their own product. Aron, thank you so much for joining us today from True Niagen. This has been a pleasure.
Pleasure being here too, Jordan. Thank you so much.